Welcome back, Shalloners. Well, you guys have been wanting this topic for a long time. Another breakdown of Meghan and Harry. Our favorite royals? Or maybe actually, are they the royals we hate the most? We're going to break it down because they just came out with their new documentary, Meghan and Harry, An African Journey. And there's the reddest of red flags. And I'm going to tell you why I think Harry is in a not only bad marriage, a potentially abusive one. That's right. Harry could end up being the victim. I'll break it all down. But first, just want to remind you, if you want a one-on-one session with me, want to talk to me about love, friends, family, anything like that, find me on my website, shallonlester.com. And also head over there to shop my new merch collection. And be sure to connect with me on Instagram at ShallonXO, where I let you vote and weigh in on the next video topic. And listen to my podcast, Girl on Top, out every week. So Harry and Meghan, I've done videos on them before because when Meghan first came on the scene, I was like, yes, we have a mixed race, divorcee, American bad bitch. I really liked her. I love her mother. I think her mother's the most adorable little person in the world. And I was excited for them. I was sad for me because it meant I couldn't marry Prince Harry, but that's fine. He's losing his hair. He's kind of past his prime. So I was like, yay. And then it started to devolve almost immediately. And you know what the first red flag was? When she claimed she had never heard of Prince Harry before she met him. Who in the hell are you trying to fool? What kind of bullshit lie is that? That doesn't make you sound cool. It makes you sound stupid. Even in the 1600s, people in foreign lands knew who the British royalty was. Are you kidding me? And he's he just bought a hook, line, and sinker. And when I've done videos about these two in the past, I've talked about how Meghan honed in on Harry's shadow self, the side of him that other people either overlooked or that he was too shy to share publicly. And that is the key to seduction, right? And I'm going to cover this more fully during Evil Week. We're going to do 7 videos, 7 sins, 7 days. Hopefully, if I can it's a lot to film, so I've already filmed this one, so it's a good one. But that's the key to seduction. You find that shadow self and you lean into it. You acknowledge it and you play it up, and they become addicted to you because I've talked about this before in other videos. The book versus the reader. When we imprint on certain guys and let them keep manipulating us, it's because we feel seen. We feel seen. All that means, though, is you're the book and they're just the reader. You are the masterpiece, the work of art. You're the work. They're just the thing that observed it. That's not really that special. But if you've never had someone validate your shadow self, yes, it is. Just ask Prince Harry. So his shadow self is that he is a leader in his own right. You're the heir. Well, I know. William's the heir, you're the spare. And maybe he's Prince Charles's kid, maybe not. I don't really know. But just even the fact that that's out there in the world as a suggestion has got to be very, very damaging for Harry. Lost his mom at such a young age, Princess Diana. That was horrifying. God, I remember that day. It was awful. And he has always felt kind of pushed to the side, like Prince William, everyone loves William. And so Meghan comes along and she's like, you are the true king of this family. You are the leader. And he's like, okay, yeah. And she probably acted like she didn't need him for anything. His other girlfriends, the high society ones, it's it's Prince Harry. Of course you're going to be bamboozled by who he is. Meghan, she is an actress, right? And her saying, I've never heard of him, that was strategy because she wanted to imply that she doesn't need him for anything. You need me. You need me, Harry. I see the real you and only I can unlock that. And so I have been kind of hinky about this whole relationship since then. And I am not wrong. So I've told you guys before, I used to run Star Magazine and people would always ask me, it's okay, what's true in there, what's not? I was like, everything's true except for stories about the royal family. Those are we have sources, but maybe not. But that was pre-Meghan. And then Meghan came along but the reason I said that is because we weren't getting great intel out of the palace. It was a very, very closed circuit, a tight ship. And then Meghan came along, boom, the floodgates open. Tip after lead, source after source. Because you know who they all were? Fucking Meghan. They were all Meghan. And she is I mean, she's a snake in the palace, you know? Like, she is singing like a bird, blabbing. She has her spies. She dispatches them, blah, blah, blah. She also has hired a PR firm because she wants 3 stories in the news every single day about her. Okay, you want a lot of fame. That's great. Do whatever you want. But don't keep giving speeches and interviews where you make yourself the victim. And you say things like, I had no idea I would face this level of scrutiny. My head exploded when I heard that she said that. First of all, Meghan, do you think you are the royal who has had it the hardest in Britain's history, in Europe's history? They used to lock them in towers and chop their heads off. You have a few negative tweets and you're like, no one suffered like me. Victim mentality. But again, that's strategy, because what does that enable Harry to do? Puff up and protect her. That taps into his shadow self, which is the great savior, who he never gets to be in his family, right? So she's annoying, but she is not actually dumb. And then she says stuff like, you know, we can't just survive, we have to thrive. And she says this in a speech to poor people. Meghan, you are thriving. You are thriving. You have crown jewels. Okay? You're a princess. You're thriving. You're fine. So it's a combination of victim mentality and entitlement and just pure ass audacity that just is like she's lost me. She's lost me as a fan. She's lost me as a supporter. I'm no longer rooting for them. And the fact that they've been so public about all this stuff, and they're going on TV and they're doing these documentaries, everyone in the palace is like super horrified by how divisive they are. But that is also part of Meghan's strategy, because Harry in this documentary is like, you know, William and I are on different paths, blah, blah, blah. That proves that, okay, tabloids don't actually make everything up. Like, we don't need to. They're sources. And this is all part of Meghan's plan to divide him from his family, you know? And I've posted about this before, and I've done a video, and some of you guys were like, you know what? If he had a toxic relationship with Will, then they should have separated. Let's say that that's true. I don't believe that they actually did have a toxic relationship. I never heard that one time from any source until Meghan came along. Never one time. Even if that's true, though, if a man or if anybody wants to separate from their family, great, you have the right to do that, but it has to be of your own volition. It can't be your partner yanking you out of your family dynamic. And if it is, that's a pre-abusive situation. Because what is the number one thing an abusive person needs to do? They need to isolate their victim, right? In kidnappings, you don't have someone shoot someone in a mall. You have shooters, but like, you take them to an isolated place. Same thing in like an abusive marriage or something like that. You have a guy who is annexing a girl away from her friends. I don't want you to go out. Stay home with me. It starts sweet, right? I just want to stay. Oh, no, come home. Don't go to that second bar. I miss you, baby. Come home. And then it's like, I don't want you hanging out with her. She's a bad influence. And then you're not hanging out with anybody. I want you to live with me. Give up your car. You don't have to work. I'll pay for everything. It's isolating. And the key is to isolate someone from their family. Because then, once they see the writing on the wall, as a victim, you're like, well, I can't leave. Where am I going to go? And the abuser will tell you that. Where the fuck are you going to go? To your mom? Oh, you haven't talked to her in a year. Remember, you called her a bitch because she didn't like you and I together. Your friends? You don't have any friends anymore. They're over you. You flaked on them one too many times. You're going to stay right here with me. So when I see this rift happening from Will and Harry, I'm like, this is not good. This is not good. People need their families. People need their families. And like I said, if that family is so toxic, I mean, they're royalty, they're half inbred, I get it. That needs to come from Harry himself, you know? And I just think it's too high of a correlation that it only started to happen once Meghan came on the scene. You know what I mean? And this is what's upsetting. It's like she has this entitlement that She thinks that being a princess is like a Hallmark movie, or like it just means you're the A-list celebrity on planet Earth. And it doesn't mean that. It's the same way Donald Trump approaches the presidency. He sees America and all of our resources and all of our allies as just a piggy bank that he can raid whenever. The concept of checks and balances does not mean anything to him, and that's why he's a dangerous person to have in the office he holds. Same with Meghan. You know what royalty is in the modern age? They're public servants. They're public servants. British fans, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but like, even the Queen doesn't have like parliamentary power. Like, she's not making laws. She's a figurehead. And what she is supposed to do, she is a public servant, right? And certainly so much lower down the food chain where Meghan and Harry are, they are as well. They're supposed to go around, promote charities, pick pet causes, blah, 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 give back. And so for her to have this attitude of like, I can't act however I want with impunity, no. And like I said, that's not how royalty has kind of like ever been. I mean, they have been. We know a lot about the royals, like from the Habsburgs, all over Europe, and like shit didn't end well. Ask Marie Antoinette. So it's just weird to me that that is the attitude she came in with and the expectation she had. Because here's the real problem, right? And here's what we can learn from this in our own life. Entitlement is not, it's not a niche thing. It's a blanket pathology for how people operate. Meghan's attitude of entitlement and her chronic victim mentality and that manipulation. I'm getting so much scrutiny, but I'm going to hire a PR company to make sure people are writing about me. And then it's just people who saying mean things. But if they don't write about me, I'm going to have a fucking fit. Like, okay. And this entitlement that she should be able to do whatever she wants and just get yay-sayed for it forever, I'm sure extends to her relationship with Harry. We just have not seen that play out yet. Why? Because she's still in the isolating phase. Once she gets Harry all to herself, maybe they live in Africa, like very isolated from his family and all of his friends, all of the norms, you know, she's going to switch. She is going to flip-flop, because that's how abusive relationships go. And when I say abusive, I don't think she's going to like come after him with a fireplace poker or something. But I have a pretty high standard of behavior for people in my life. And I don't take a shred of that shit. I don't take it in a friendship, in a family relationship, in a dating relationship. So to me, a little bit of that is already too much. So that's my line in the sand. And so for me, that dynamic is so toxic and is abusive. Like, maybe it isn't for you. Maybe you have a much more elastic view of abuse. I hope not. For your own sake, I hope not. But she's still in the isolating phase, and she's gonna flip. Because like I said, we see this in abusive people all the time. Oh, he was just lavishing me with gifts, blah, blah, blah. And then once you are suitably isolated, then the bad things start. And maybe it's not hitting, you know, like abuse comes in many forms. Maybe he's just talking down to you and he doesn't support your dreams and he's just mean. He's just a run-of-the-mill piece of work asshole. And maybe that's what Meghan's going to kind of devolve into too. I hope not. I have been rooting for these two. Like, I really was rooting for them for so long. Like, I thought they were a really neat couple, and I liked that she was so charitable, and she does genuinely seem very charitable. But a lot of malignant narcissists are, because they get off on people like needing them and thanking them. I mean, I've talked about my own issues with narcissism, and like this, I do this for a living because I get off when you guys are like, not get off. I'm sorry, that's such a vulgar term. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I enjoy it when when you guys like, you've helped me so much. I'm like, ooh, like it tickles my warped little ego. So I don't really care why she's out there promoting charities and helping people and volunteering. Good for her. And if she wants to be a shitty person behind closed doors, that's fine. It's really only Harry's problem. It doesn't impact me at all. I don't care. No skin off my back. As long as she continues these charitable works, great. But we have to look at how this dynamic could play out in our own lives. You know what I mean? So if you need to take a step back and be like, am I being isolated by someone in my life? And it might not be a romantic partner. It could be a friend. I get so many questions from you guys where it's like, I've been best friends with this girl since we were like 13, but now I'm 17. I'm kind of like getting into new things and like meeting new people, and she like won't have it. She throws a fit. She's talking shit about me. That's an abusive dynamic. It is. It is one person ruling the roost and isolating the other so that they can keep them under control. Right? We see that with our siblings. We see that sometimes, unfortunately, with parents. And we have to pull back. So here's how you disentangle. You got to get a lot of other data. You need to keep people in your life, and you need to start calling bluffs. No, Kelsey, I am going to hang out with the volleyball team tonight, and I'm really sorry if you have a problem with it. We can go get mani-pedis on Saturday and go to Starbucks like we always do, but this is what I'm doing. And if you're like, well, then we don't need to be friends. You know what? That says it all. You don't need to be friends. Same in your romantic relationships. You have to put up those boundaries and stick to it, because no healthy relationship will require you giving up other healthy things in your life. And if I feel like Harry has been so bamboozled, he now doesn't know whether or not his brother was a healthy influence in his life, right? So you might not either. And if that's the case, step back and be like, independently, how do I feel about this person? Regardless of the data I'm getting from my partner or my friend or whatever, how do I feel about this thing that they're asking me to detach from? And if you don't know, ask other people, ask other neutral people who might know. Like, no, you and your brother, I've never heard you complain about anything. You know, family have issues, but like, I wouldn't say it's a toxic thing you have to get out of. But it really does take doing some research, and it takes taking a step back and analyzing what they have to gain by isolating you and what you have to gain by separating yourself on your own organically from whatever your partner is telling you, but also what you have to gain by, not what you have to gain. This is a question. If you listen to your partner, if Harry listens to Meghan and cuts Will and Kate off, and Meghan evaporated tomorrow, would he be happy with that decision still? And that's what you have to ask yourself. If your boyfriend is telling you not to hang out with your best friend and he got beamed into outer space by aliens tomorrow, would you be happy that you made that choice? Would you be happy you cut off your family? 9 times out of 10, the answer is no. Because like I said, no relationship should come with that price tag, ever. But I want to know what you guys have to say about Harry and Meghan. Do you think she's like way entitled? Do you think she came into this whole royal monarchy acting like it was, you know, a Hallmark movie thing? Or do you think she came in with the appropriate modicum of respect and stiff upper lip? Maybe not. And do you think her and Harry are going to go to the distance, or are they going to be one of the more recent royal divorces? I want to know your thoughts. Tell me what you think. And also, like I said, connect with me on my website at shallonlester.com and on Instagram, ShallonXO, and listen to my podcast, Girl on Top, out every week.